Welcome to the Online Entrepreneur Experience podcast that details the ins and outs, the how-tos, and the ups and downs of living a life of an online business owner. What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Online Entrepreneur Experience. Again, as always, I'm Deuces. That's the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Wilson, aka the Viking marketer, legend in the flesh. So today, you guys, we want to talk about doing the stuff that you don't want to do.
But I mean, one of the things they do want to do is listen to us, right?
Yes, of course. So as we are doing our podcast lately, I'm going to interview Mark. This is what Mark wants to talk about to you guys today. He wants to drop some serious bombs, some knowledge bombs. Bum, bum, bum. Is that too much?
No, it's the right amount.
The perfect amount. Right on. Okay, so Mark, let's just get right into it. Explain to us what it means to do the things that you don't like to do. Do you mean like how people go to a job they don't like to pay the bills? Or is it a lot more profound than that?
I mean, like in essence, in like the purest form, that would be something. But I mean, there has to be a ripple effect. There has to be some more thinking to do with it past that. But yeah, like in the end of the day, there's going to be tons of stuff that we encounter in our lives that we don't want to do. But those are generally the things that make us the most money, make us end up being the most happy, make us the most successful, all that kind of stuff, right? And I'll give some everyday examples, right? Like you probably don't want to spend an extra half an hour to an hour making food for dinner when you can just go grab a Delissio pizza, throw it in the oven, and have dinner, right? Like you don't want to do that. I'm going to almost guarantee you've had a long day. Your kids have yelled at you, all that type of stuff, but you know what's going to be healthier for you long term, and you know what's going to be more oriented to your goals. So you spend the half an hour making a quality meal that's full of nutrition, that's not out of a box, that doesn't have a bunch of preservatives in it.
I was going to foot him,
and actually feed it to your family. And that's the big thing. And it can go over all aspects, but there's a lot of different things. And going into business, and I was talking to one of my buddies earlier today, and this is really where it stemmed off. And he said this to me a few different times, and you know who you are, and I know you're listening to this. He's hit me with this a few different times, where it's just like, well, Gary Vaynerchuk, he says, just do the things that you're passionate about. And it's a very vague, very marketable statement, very packageable, easy to send out where people can pick up on it and then they'll listen to them because it's packaged correctly. Now, you have to understand a lot of times when people are giving out information, they're not giving out information to always better you. They will give you information that will better you, but some of the information that they're giving out is packageable. It's just information, so you will listen. And it's just like the new series that I created, Stay Broke, Not Woke. It's not there to give you this profound acceptance of what you should be doing, because obviously I'm talking as a negative, but it's packageable, it's easy to sell, it's the most viral content that I've made recently. But it's not actually what I want you to do. It's just I'm trying to grasp your attention with it. And I feel too often people grab these things and it's like it goes towards with what they want to be doing, and it's easy. So they're just like, yeah, that's what that superstar said, so that's what I'm gonna do.
That's so good, and I'm glad you brought up Gary Vee, because I've got him in my next question. But so what if the thing I'm passionate about, and this is playing off of what you just said, Gary Vee, or you were talking with your friend about Gary Vee with, what if the Delissio pizza is what I'm passionate about and I just want to eat those all the time? Does that mean I can just keep doing that and I'm going to see that success?
Well, it means we'll be best friends.
I love that.
I love pizza, man. Like pizza's my favorite thing. I wish I could eat it every single day. I used to, and my belly was out to here. Like, and that's not a joke. I would eat Delissio pizza probably 4 times a week because it was that easy. I was that busy, and all of that kind of stuff. And that's why we'd be best friends. We're already best friends. It's okay. I was just joking. But in the end of the day, if you're passionate about that, and then you have goals that are over here. So let's just say, do you have goals of have a 6-pack or whatever, but you're passionate about eating pizza? Well, then you should either change your goals or change your habits. They can't be disassociated with each other. It can't happen, but this is what happens so much in society. And I'm sure you listening to this right now have a bunch of habits that aren't associated with that. Maybe you know that you should come home and put in 2 hours on your business, but you don't want to because it's hard and you're tired and you have a million excuses. And then there's this big, shiny, radiating cube in the side of your living room that says, I have a bunch of cool stuff for you to watch. And you're like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I do. So I'm going to go watch that instead of actually doing the stuff that I don't want to be doing, but is oriented with your goals.
So before I get into my next question, I just need to clarify something for our younger viewers. When Mark said the cube, TVs nowadays are flat and rectangular, but they used to be on the floor and they used to be cubes. So that's what
actually my 3 monitors, 2 of them are curved, so there's no cube at all in them.
Yeah, but that's what he meant. A floor model TV. Go look them up. Go to your local museum and have a peek at them. But so for my next question, Mark, you've talked about Gary Vee. I know that you're a huge fan of his. I'm a huge fan of his as well. We have both read his latest book. And in that book, he talks about all the soft skills, kindness, love, candor, stuff like that. Doing the things you don't want to do, to me, sounds more like a hard skill, opposite of what Gary Vee talks about. Would you consider this a hard skill? And if it is like a hard skill, how can we flip it and make it positive for our listeners?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that it's a skill or not. And before I get into the question, it's not like I want to hate on Gary at all or what he says, because I think Gary's a fucking beauty. And I think he has so much profound information that he gives. And I think he's changed thousands, if not like potentially going on almost 1 million people's lives, just because he is such an amazing human being. But it's not him, it's the people that are perceiving the information and then putting their own spins on it, which we have a tendency of doing. So it's not him that I'm trying to hate on, it's how people take in what his information is. But with that being said, I don't know if it would be a skill or not, because I feel like it's more perspective. Because to my wife, and I love my wife, but she finds it sometimes hard to be kind, have that kindness for people, and that to her, it's something she doesn't want to do a lot of the time. So like me and her run a business together, and I have to type out the majority of the messages because she finds it very hard, and something that she doesn't really want to spend the time on is actually having that caring candor with people, and something she shies away from. So in this essence, I would say some of those soft skills are hard skills for her to acquire, but I wouldn't exactly call this a skill or not. I would say it's more just like a habituary perspective. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. It took what I said and threw it out the window. and you ran with it, and I love your perspective on that, because doing the things that you don't want to do is not necessarily a skill that you're going to build. It's just an action that you want to take if you want to reach the goals that you've put in place for yourself.
For sure. And the only things that you'll be able to achieve are things that you've already been able to achieve. If it is things that you don't want, if you're not doing the things you don't want to do, like you're already going to be just achieving what you already have. Like there's going to be no growth, because to be able to grow, you have to do things that you don't want to do.
Fair enough. So when people are out there and they're doing the things that they do not want to do and they're trying to level up, they're trying to reach those goals. Um, do you have any advice for them for how they can find the joy in those moments? Or is it just the outcome or the final destination of doing those tasks or those actions that they don't want to do? Is that outcome just enough of a motivator to continue, or can we find joy in doing the things that we don't want to do?
I think it's like a three-part answer. So I'm going to answer it three different ways because it's not parts, it's actually just like true answers. So one is, yeah, you can find joy. There's some stuff that and we'll talk about some automation software where I first saw this and that we use in our business. And I first saw it, I ran away from it. I was like, this is scary. This software scares me. These bots, the Terminator, the bots are taking over. But joking aside, I ran away from that. It was something I didn't want to learn because it seemed complex. It seemed like something I didn't believe that I could ever like comprehend. And now I've become on the expert terminology on that because I started doing the things that I didn't want to do with it because I knew that I was going to get a dividend at the end. And now I actually really enjoy it because I acquired that skill. And I think it's because the feeling that I get knowing that how hard it was at first, that you got it. So I think that yes, you can get the joy because you've got the outcome that you want, and focusing just on that can really push you through. Some people can't look that long term though. Some people can't look into the end. Like that's not good enough for them. Like they need like substantial wins along the way. And that's where like, say you're trying to lose 20 pounds and you can't just think about yourself losing 20 pounds because you don't know if you would ever get there. So like just focusing on that, I don't think you'd be able to get there. Not everyone. I could, because that's how my brain works, but not everybody's brain does work that way. But you have to end up, if that's not the person that you are, you can't focus on that end result. Then you have to then focus on the joys of being able to conquer things that you've never been able to along the way. So it's either you have to have that short-term resolve of loving the fight, or you have to have that resolve of loving the end result. And then if neither one of those work, you have to work like me and you become disassociated with what you're doing, just knowing that it needs to get done because it's all part of the process, and you become a little bit dead inside. So just joking about the dead inside, just disassociating yourself with the processes, just more putting it on the task list and just mindlessly doing this stuff because you know it needs to be done.
Whew, that was a heavy answer. I thought I was going to stump you with that one, but you got her. 3 answers. I just needed 1, but you came with 3. Amazing. Is that something you wanted to do or not?
No, it's just it just, I was just like, hey, I need to, technically it was something I wanted to do because I want to give the audience the best value possible. That's why I showed up, bro. I showed up to put on a performance and show,
Yeah, that's right. And you're putting on a hell of a show, bud. So when it comes to doing the things that you don't want to do, it's obviously what that task is has everything to do with what your goal is. Now, can you level up in life, get to level 2 or 3, whatever that may be for our viewers? Can you get there without doing the things you don't want to do? Is it possible to level up your life with only doing the things that you enjoy doing, like Delissio Pizza?
I love how we just stuck with that Delissio Pizza. I'm sure you just came up with it on the spot, but I love it. Anyways, with that being said, I don't believe you can. I think you can maybe get to level 1, but getting anywhere past, like say like you're at level 0, you can probably get to the next level without having to do all those things that you don't want to do and everything. But getting anywhere past that, probably not. Maybe if you're like you're the rare, like you're the exception to the rule, maybe you'll be able to get to like level 2, but it would be a very rare specimen to be able to get past there. Like you have to be willing to do those things. And it's just like, I know people inside our business, it's just like they're like, I don't want to do the selling, I don't want to do the marketing, I don't want to build a brand, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do this. And it's just like, cool, but they only want to do this one thing. It's just like, okay, well, you have an option. You can either just pay a bunch of people to do that stuff, and then now you have an out-of-pocket expense, which you have a brand new business, which is just killing it, or you just don't do those things and you have zero success, and then you have to have the attributions from there. So if it's just like, yeah, I'm paying for marketing, but I don't want to do sales, well, you're never going to make that money back, right? So it's just like being able to acquire systems or paying people externally would be the only way to go past those levels.
So even paying someone externally to help you get past those levels, wouldn't you classify that as doing something you don't want to do?
Probably. Yeah, that would probably be it. Yeah. So I guess it'd be like this scale. It's like, what do I want to do less? Right.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have an abundance of money and you really don't want to do the task itself, pay people to do it, then you will still get the end result.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of people will, I don't know, I'm trying to think, do their own landscaping for their yard. They will do all the hard labor, and it's not something they want to do, but they will still do it because they know how good it's going to look at the end. But if they had a bunch of money, they could just pay a landscaping company to do it. So with that analogy, how deep do we want to go here?
Oh, bro, I love that you're already going on there, because I was going to add on to that. So yeah, like pass me the rock, coach.
Why don't you just add on?
Yeah,
that conversation.
Like, and I'll talk a little bit about my past. Is like I used to do, like when I first broke into the industry, started creating digital freedom movement, all that kind of stuff. I had to do all my own sales, and then I was like, oh man, this is burning me out. I'm doing too much. I need to do more if I'm ever going to be able to live the life that I want to. I have to build infrastructure, hire people, right? So I ended up like trading some of my money to get people to do the work for me. The problem was I would convert at 10%, they're converting at 1 or 2%. So not only was I paying these people, losing out money there, I was also losing out money with their weren't performing at the same level as me. So it really ends up being, it's just like, yeah, like you're gonna care about your lawn way more than any landscaper will. But if you want a landscaper that's gonna care, like either care about it more or have a higher skill level, that their care doesn't matter as much, but their skill level supersedes that, you're going to end up having to pay a lot more. So it's just like, I was trying to tippy toe into getting employees and everything. So I wasn't paying a large amount of money at first. So I was getting shit employees that were putting out a shit job. And I ended up having to re-infrastructure multiple times, while losing out money on both sides of it. So you can, like, you're always going to essentially care the most, more than anybody else, because it's your business or your yard or whatever. You're going to care more than anybody else, but you can overcome that care with skill, but skill is more cheddar.
Yeah. So it's all to do with value, right? What do you value more? Do you value your time and you just pay for somebody else? And if they're not converting at the same rate, you don't care because you'll just get more people to do it? Or do you care about money more and you're just going to do it all yourself? So regardless of what side of that scale you're on, it all boils down to, you have to do the work you don't want to do. You have to, in order to level up.
Because most times, even like, you won't want to train people, but then you're like, well, these people aren't doing a good enough job, so then you have to train them. So it's just going to lead to another problem of things that you don't want to do.
So you're telling me there's no easy button?
No, I mean, I wish. I even bought one once and I kept pressing it and nothing changed.
So there is no quick fix to riches. Like, can I just make a poster board and put some pictures on it?
I mean,
and then the Lambo's going to show up in my driveway because I don't want to do the hard work.
Think hard enough, and if you stay there and maybe take enough mushrooms, you'll be able to at least visualize it there.
I think you'll need more than just mushrooms.
Oh, I love it. I love it. But no, man, like honestly, I think we do it as easy as possible with digital freedom movement, like done for you systems. But you still have to end up putting in the work and learning the skills. And that's still stuff that a lot of people would rather not do. They'd rather go hang out with their friends, stay the exact same way than actually just putting in that work, doing the really, really uncomfortable stuff for as long as it takes to get to the results that you want.
I love it, man. I love the way you explain doing the work that you don't want to do to people. And speaking of work that you might not want to do, get in those comments. You might not want to, but the outcome is what you want. And once we hit 2,500 subscribers, we will be picking someone at random on any one of our videos, and we are going to give away a $100 gift card. So do the work that you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're almost 200 subs away from that. So the quicker we get there, the quicker you guys ring that bell, as Deuce says, the quicker we're going to end up being able to give you that $100.
Yeah, and the more comments you put in, the more chances you have to win. So let us know in the comments what you're going to be working on, what you are going to be doing, which you don't really want to do, so that you can hit those goals and level up your own life.
Love it. Love it. All right, guys, we will see you on next week's episode. Enjoy, and I look forward to having a conversation with you in the comment section.
Take care, guys.
Thanks for tuning into the Online Entrepreneur Experience. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes that we're releasing and any of these amazing pieces of value that we're giving out. And if you could take the time out of your day and leave us a review, we would be so grateful. We look forward to seeing you on that next episode.